mid-range sorcerer with a little bit of a twist of Heroes of Skyrim. So I play mid-range sorcerer a little bit different, and I've been playing this way forever. A lot of people have actually started cutting the one drops, but I really like them because of the fact that they actually aren't bad one drops. They're relatively sticky or offer utility, and that's pretty important. It helps you fight for board against very aggressive decks, and can sometimes help you just like get that little bit of extra chip damage that you need against control decks. So 1 and 2 drops Crown Quartermaster. It's pretty strong. Get the Steel Dagger is actually really useful in this deck. It helps you a lot with like Sorcerer, and it also helps you a lot with Windkeep Spellsword and Warcraft. It just gives you a lot of few tricky ways of trading that you wouldn't have had without it, and that's really strong. So for the rest of my tutor package, we're running for my tutor package, pardon, like we're running Dragontail Savior, Wardcrafter, and Windkeep Spellsword. Not the biggest tutor package in the world, but these 2-drops are incredibly overtuned for their cost, so it's just incredibly potent. So the first Heroes of Skyrim card that we're playing, and it's one of 2 cards, we're playing Sorcerer's Negation. I took out Firebolt for this, and Sorcerer's Negation is just really strong. Like, silence a creature, then deal 2 damage to it. The silence first part is really huge. Like, you get to kill stuff like Daggerfall Mage without its effect triggering. You get to kill a lot of other stuff. It helps you reach for lethals in positions where Firebolt before wouldn't have done it. So it's just an incredibly strong card. Sorcerer has the strongest free drops in the entire game, without a doubt. Like, the entire free drop package in this deck is just overtuned. Young Mammoth, 3 mana 4/4 breakthrough, incredibly strong minion. Haunting Spirit, last gasp, give a random friendly creature plus 3/3. You can manipulate this so it ends up buffing Iliac Sorcerer, and suddenly you have a 6/4 for 1 mana. It's just insane. Dark Guardian is the only card from Fallout Dark Brotherhood that has made the cut, and it's only 2 copies of it. I am not the biggest of fan of this card, but I can see why people would run it and why I actually do run it myself. Against Prophecy decks, it's really potent, and it just helps you do stuff and get its X as a bit of card draw, and that's actually something that this deck kind of lacks. It is card draw. Daggerfall Mage, just the best freedom in the game, not much to say about that. In the 4-drop slot, I'm running a little bit of different tech. Dress Renegade is just a good card. Like, you might have noted the fact that I do not run Shrieking Heart myself. I'm not a fan of the card, and I'm probably like one of the few people that actually run Dress Renegade. And it just offers a nice bit of utility. It helps you answer Sanctuary Pets very efficiently. It helps you answer Shrieking Harpies very efficiently. It's just a strong card. If we move on to Lightning Bolts, just Lightning Bolt. Not much to say about that really. Prophecy deal 4 damage, like, you go boy. Preserve the Root, it's not really a 4-drop, it's more like a late game minion. But like, after turn 7, it's a 4 Magicka 6/6 with guard. It's such a good tool. Like, it's such a versatile minion that it's like, this card goes in every deck that runs endurance. No matter how quick it is, no matter how slow it is, this card is just incredible. Next up is everyone's favorite card, Royal Sage. This card has won me a fair few games. It's a bit overtuned, I think, at 4 Magicka, but I'm gonna run it for a while. It's probably one of the 4-drops that you've been looking for if you play Intelligence decks, because Intelligence decks generally has been relying on other classes 4-drops to really push this, like to really push it over the edge. Like, you know, like you've been running Hype Defender and Control Mage instead of a lot of 4-drop from Intelligence and stuff. Shadowfen Priest is a really strong utility minion, and it's just like, it allows you to play offensively, it allows you to play defensively, it allows you to remove supports, His Grove, you name it. It just doesn't exist apparently. Like, when you play this card, you can very easily counter a lot of strategies, and it can help you push from lethals that your opponent haven't seen coming. Thief of Dreams is going to be the last card, and it's like the second and last card of Heroes of Skyrim we're going to be like including in today's video. And summon. See a vision of 2 of your opponent's cards. Guess which one is in their hand. If you're right, draw a copy of it. If you're right, draw a copy of it. Like, just leave it at that. You don't, like, first of all, you get so much information. First of all, you're going to see 2 cards in your opponent's deck. That's incredible. You get to see a card in your opponent's hand, even better. And if you choose the right one, you even get a copy of a card. You get so much information to work with, and even potentially a card. So this card could replenish itself. It's just incredibly strong. Black Realm Necromancer is one of the reasons why I like to play cards that are really strong and actually does something once on summon and doesn't just get pushed over. Because when you're ahead in the late game, which you're generally speaking are going to be ahead in HP, this card can do some incredible swings. Like, imagine, like even if you draw like Crown Quartermaster early Sorcerer, it isn't the end of the world because Sorcerer is very sticky, and Crown Quartermaster, it gives you a card in your hand that you can then utilize to reach for more damage or get a better trade. High King Emmerich, just a stable card in every Sorcerer deck. It's just insane. Like, you can deal so much damage with this guy, it's not even fun. Bone Colossus, again, it's just a strong refill. It's really good because, generally speaking, you can actually draw a lot of removal and a lot of AoE before turn 7, and then you just like play this, and it just completely blocks your opponent out of the game. Nahaglev, 7 mana, 7/7 god. It's just, your opponent can't even target Nahaglev with actions. Like, this card is just good. However, I do feel like that my deck game package in its own right is very flexible, so if you don't have Nahaglev or you don't have Bone Colossus, you can very easily find replacements for it. And to finish off the deck, I run 2 copies of Supreme Edge Romancer. It's just a card that is incredibly strong. I've been running 3 copies in the past, I've been running 1 copy. I just found that 2 copies is the one where I can rely on it the most to finish out the game. When you're in a very control heavy meta, it's just an incredibly important card to have because it helps you close out games very efficiently. It also adds more value to your 1-drops in the late game because for 10 Magic K you can suddenly deal 6 damage instead of just a 4 on the spawn of the Atromancer. It helps you reach for a little bit more. But without much further ado, let's queue up for some games. So, in case you might have been wondering why I haven't done any more card reviews, it's mainly because of the fact that I graduated and then I went on like to do all the graduation related stuff, and then I went straight to a music festival. So we're gonna play against Lord Indy, and we do not have a bug queuing up this time. You wouldn't believe how many bugs I've had trying to record this video today for you. It's been incredible. I need to get to some sleep so soon, so if I sound a little bit sleepy, that's probably why. But okay, so we're going first. This deck really likes to be on the coin, because it's not really important for you to be that proactive, because you can do a lot of different stuff with your early game cards. So we have a 2-drop, which is very nice. We're going to be looking for a 1-drop. We didn't find a 1-drop, which is kind of unfortunate, but we do have Dragontail Savior, Wardcrafter, and Daggerfall Mage. This is just a really strong and versatile early game opener. We can answer pretty much every card that he can play in the early game. Even Goblin Skull is not even the most impossible thing for me to answer. Because he's like play Dragontail Savior into it. Even if he like wants to play a Curse Protect this is still a 2/2 and still trades. This card is just incredible. Like, for most of the time it's a 2-mana 3/3. And that's really strong. So like, this card is just insane. Brotherhood Slayer, okay. That is kind of annoying, but I'm not sure how much we mind him getting the contract over him getting another reduction. I would rather give him the contract than giving him another card from his deck. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play Daggerfall Mage and we're gonna trade. So now he has to choose over using the curse very efficiently here or getting the contract. And either for me is fine. Like, if he wants a contract, I'm more than happy to give it to him because I have a minion in my hand that can actually help doing it. So he's gonna use the curse. And then he was looking to trade with this, so I'm assuming that he has something in his hand that can kill it. Assassin does have a lot of removal, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him like firebolt this maybe. He decides not to hit, he doesn't want to give me a card. Which means that I'm just gonna go do lightning bolt to his face. Not to his face, but like, I'm gonna lightning bolt the Brotherhood Slayer to deny him giving a contract, and we're gonna do this for now. So now we have 2 Shadowfen Priests, which means that if he plays a minion that has like Pilfer or something else, like with a high value, we're just gonna be able to remove it, like remove its effect. Alright, this is starting to be very interesting. Is he running like a Swindler's Market deck? Because then we need these 2. I think I'm just gonna play a Tempo Preserver of the Root. How does it fit further down the road though? So this is like what I'm saying, like this deck isn't like, it's a curve deck to a certain extent, but when you're not under pressure, you have a lot of decisions to make. Like, obviously Shadow and Priests are not gonna be played this round, this turn. So we just have to figure out, is it better to go 2/2 drops, or is it better to play the 4? So this card gains more value the further down the game I go. However, Wardcrafter and Windkeep spells do not really. In an ideal world, I would like to reapply the ward to this to get another copy of Tome of Alteration, but I think I'm just fine with doing this for now, and just leaving it by here. This makes it so that if I top deck, let's say Royal Sage, it becomes way better. So do we have anything in our discard pile? I've completely forgotten. We do have a Dragontail Savior. So in case we draw a Black Rum, Necromancer isn't completely dead. Alright. Again, a really slow turn from him. I'm not really sure. He's definitely playing Swindler's Market. And there we go, rewarded for playing Royal Sage. Like, for setting up the Royal Sage. Do I go face first? I probably do, right? I mean, okay, that might be a misplay. I was just gonna test for the first prophecy, and then I'm gonna play this now. That's probably a misplay. If this got drained, it was a misplay. Obviously got drained because it's the one I couldn't attack. I am actually gonna break this rune, and I'm gonna regret it now because I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, now he just gets this trade. There was the way I was kind of hesitant to play the way I did, but I just rewarded him for like I just became an idiot. So he's just cycling out a little bit more. So what I'm not afraid of is the fact that he might potentially be able to set up a Swindler's Market OTK play without me being able to answer it. But with the top deck of Bone Colossus, that looks a lot less likely to happen. So we are just gonna keep on pushing, and he got another prophecy. That's really unfortunate. Like I can't really like I'm not gonna play around my opponent getting 2 prophecy procs and 3 runes when he's playing assassin, and the deck is clearly not like it's clearly not a prophecy assassin build. We're just gonna slam in a Bone Colossus. The lightning bolt on the ward looked a little bit suspicious. He might actually be going for an Ice Storm here. However, if he is going for an Ice Storm, I do have minions to stick, and he needs to have exactly Lightning Bolt or 2 copies of Curse to kill off my Bone Colossus. And I have a pretty strong board coming back in terms of Preserver of the Root, so we'll see. Also, this just sets up Lethal on board, yeah, and I win. So that was a pretty... I don't even know, I wouldn't even call this a good game. I played a little bit poorly. I could definitely have sequenced way better than I did, and he didn't get the cards he needed, so that was a pretty meh game, to be honest. That's a game that you, generally speaking... I mean, those games happen. I'm not saying they don't happen. They're just a little bit annoying to showcase for a video. But, however, let's move into the, so... As I said, some of you people may know that I played a lot of Sorcerer way back. To be honest, I've never been a top Legend player because I never really put that much time into ladder, and I actually probably haven't been as good as the top 10 Legend players, consistent players. But I used to play it at a a relatively high level, and it used to be my go-to tournament deck as well, and it was I never finished outside top 8 in a tournament. I played 3 tournaments, and I won one, finished top 4 in the second one, I think, and then it finished top 8 in one of the bigger championship series tournaments there were, and I had the most insane bracket in that tournament. So Sorcerer is just a really strong and versatile class. It can beat everything, and it's such a good answer to control decks. This deck was the shit to play back when Ramscalp was just running rampant on ladder. Alright, so we're just gonna... this is a pretty generic opener. 1 drop into 2 drop into 3 drop. And then we're gonna start having options in terms of what we're gonna do. So I am not gonna trade. He's probably gonna have a lot of removal, but I'm not gonna let him trade. I'm not gonna trade. I am gonna go face 2 times. I'm fine with giving him the card here. I haven't seen which type of mage he is yet, but I'm gonna assume that most people playing Control Mage. And in case of Control Mage, I am just gonna keep on playing as much shit as I possibly can to make it hard for him to answer anything. So he takes the value trade, which is to be expected. So at this point, we're gonna start looking at our future turns. So remember what I said about Steel Dagger being good. Here I can actually get rid of this without having to commit my Lightning Bolt, and I can commit him, and I can develop a minion in the process, which is really good. So there are different ways of doing this. I can get the buff. I can try to win the 50-50 and get the buff on this, or I can like just get the guaranteed buff on this. It depends on what I think is the best, and I'm not really sure. However, if I go for this sequencing, applying this Steel Dagger first is better. I think that this is the best sequencing. And I got the outcome that I wanted to happen, so that's pretty good for me. I'm however starting to looking a little bit dry on cards, which is kind of unfortunate because if he has one javelin here, my entire game just goes down the gutter. Iron, did you even play an action this game? Yeah, you didn't play an action this game. That was odd. That was incredibly odd. Alright. So at this point, my hand is just telling me to go face. Like, I'm never gonna be able to outvalue this iron at all, so I'll have to leave it up for a good while, I think, because dealing 5 damage to this deck is pretty much impossible. However, I am just gonna play Dress Renegade over here, and we're gonna have some fun, hopefully. Alright, so Ice Storm is not that good for him here. Lightning Bolt into a lot of weird shit is pretty good for him. He has a lot of different ways to do this that generally helps him out a lot. That not landing is incredibly important for me, and he just gives me cards. He's not down with playing the control game. So he Lightning Bolts that, and then Firebolts that. Okay, so that's a little bit of like that's a bit of stuff to work with for me, I guess. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do this, and try to get a card draw in case he got a prophecy, and then we're gonna play Daggerfall Mage now too. So as long as he doesn't heal, over a few turns we actually do have the damage to kill him. However, I find it very unlikely that he's not gonna heal, but we'll see what happens. He has the execute there, which is kind of unfortunate for me, and his iron is just dunking me in the head, which is not the optimal thing to happen. So. No ward is kind of annoying here. However, we have to read that he doesn't have access to piercing javelin in his hand. So if we trade Emmerich that, then we contest his iron and we push lethal for next turn. And now we want to spread out, because going into turn 7 with Iron up, he has access to Dawn's Wrath, and we don't want to get both our minions Dawn's Wrath, because then we just like throw the game. He goes face again, and Ice Storms, and then what? He doesn't do anything, so we actually do have lethal now, I think. As long as he doesn't run like Prophecy Heal. That's not Prophecy Heal. Alright, so we just win. Again, I mean, it just showcases what this deck can do against control. Like, this deck can absolutely kill control. It can keep up with aggro as well, and it's really strong in mid-range mirrors. This deck it's just like an overall really strong deck. Like, it doesn't have it has distinct counters. Like, super aggro decks can be really tough to deal with, and also if you don't get the right amount of damage to push through against, like, let's say control spell sword, you're just gonna get fucked in the end. However, to finish off this game, I'm just gonna show you a few stats as we end the video. So, yeah. I can't remember where I completely started to run this new one. Alright, actually I can. I started today with this build. I started here. This was the first place I started running this build, so I had a little bit of a little few problems here, but a bit of trouble there, and it's just like, again, as I said, control spell sword, not the best matchup. But yeah, as you can see here, just like, it's just very strong. You can win against everything, you can also lose everything. That's just the deck. It's a jack of all trades deck. I will hope you have enjoyed this first gameplay video from Elder Scrolls Legends from me. It's real, my name is Wida, and you can follow me on Twitter at nr_WitaCCG, and you can follow me over at Twitch at /IamWita. But that was all for now, so peace out, and hopefully you're gonna enjoy Heroes of Skyrim. I will probably be doing a top 5 cards video coming up somewhere soon whenever I get the time. However, with me going back to the festival tomorrow, that might be a little bit on the like a little bit down the road, so it's not gonna be as predictable.